Hey beauties, good evening to you. Beautiful people. I'm watching the news, so it's on a little break, but I think it's the overseas news will come on. And I was listening to the section that was speaking about Marcus Garvey Technical High or High, yeah, and the school administration. I suppose a parent, a mother in particular, lambasted, took to social media and lambasted how they handled, I think that her son would have been expelled. And when they spoke with the principal basically said, we tried every method under the sun that are all the methods that would be within our parameters, so to speak. So internal counseling, external counseling, behavioral modification methods. I mean, I suppose going outside of their jurisdiction, so to speak. And I say jurisdiction, what a school is entailed to do to keep peace in the school, order, accountability, and all of the wonderful things that should take place in schools, especially learning literacy, which is the number one. All right. And they said we just are exhausted now and we have to protect the majority as against one, sort of, I don't want to say, bad egg or, one individual who has gone rogue. Let me tell you something, beauties. I've been watching this school saga when I say this school, I don't mean in particular Marcus Garvey, but in Jamaica. Something is diametrically wrong. And we understand, for those of us some of us who are social scientists, some are psychologists, and other trained area that understands child development, adolescence development, adult development, and so on, and understand that if certain ingredients are not put in place, then a malady will be created, social upheaval will be created. It starts within the home, then it goes to the school, and it goes at play. All right, and we do understand that, and we realize that because a number of things have been taken out of the package, the schools are suffering violent activities, criminal activities, and it is on a rapid, just recently a 14-year-old was shot up at a drive-by. I mean, there's so many examples that I can give that happened in fairly recent times, back to back to back. I don't even want to bring them up because they're so morbid. They're disturbing mentally and emotionally just to even think about them, and so on. And I can understand the schools administrator saying, look here, we can't take it anymore. There was one school, I think last week or the week before, I don't recall, and the principal says, it's almost like, and I'm paraphrasing, so are you saying that we must deal with our own problems and then deal with yours, even beyond where we can go, beyond the leverage that we're given as humans? For example, when you have physical pain, when it goes beyond what your body can manage, you're going to shut down. So you probably knock out. So in other words, she's saying that you have to learn to manage your priorities, manage your expectations, manage your responsibilities, and not expect the teacher or the school administrators to take it on. I kind of disagree with parents taking to social media a lot of these things, and I agree with the principal where that is concerned. There is something with us as a people that we feel we get some sort of kick, humiliating and embarrassing people for any and everything. I can understand when it affects the masses, that we take it to social media. I can understand if injustice is at large, is at play, and unfairness is at play, inequality is at play, where inequality shouldn't be, and inequities, and these things, and you try everything behind the scenes, and you may have to bring it to the fore. It's like a biblical principle. If you have something, there is ought, and you go to the person, they kind of refuse you or refute you. The Bible says bring two other persons, and you bring you climb until it goes a little bit more public to deal with the matter, especially on very serious issues. So I understand taking things in stages, but if a cockroach crawls over your foot, we turn on the camera and we go on social media and post it. I don't know, maybe to humiliate. There's something inside of all of us, I don't know, that gets a kick out of negativity, out of humiliation and embarrassment. It's a fruit of the unholy spirit. And, I empathize with the school and the schools in general. In particular, I'm talking this one, as well as schools otherwise, and the schools administrators. Notwithstanding, you do have teachers and administrators, in different schools who may not really genuinely care about the children. They really may not. It may just be a job. Given a job, let me just execute it. Try and seemingly do good. Try and seemingly care. But I really don't. To be honest, I just want to get this paycheck. I'm trained in this area, and I will do whatever I can to do. We do understand that. But the teachers and the school administrators are under siege in general. And they're no fearful of the students. I remember the days when it was the other way around. The students were fearful. You give trouble, you're afraid. The principal, knowing, maybe you might not be so afraid of the teachers, but the principal or vice principal or the dean of discipline, oh no, oh my God. And no, they don't care. We're the big guns, we're the big dogs sort of a situation. And, she explained that he was caught with the scissors, I suppose, after many different infractions, and was with the opposite sex, and a claim was made against him being molested by the same sex. It's some kind of craziness you're hearing. But what bothered me a little bit, as much as I understand where the school is concerned and the school administrators are concerned, which I would say to the principal to be careful in saying, is that, some of these students are psychopaths. They're sociopsychopaths or psychopaths, narcissists. I don't know, she had said murderers. I don't want to tell any lies. But let us work with the two, narcissists and sociopaths or psychopaths. I can understand if she said in the present reality, they have narcissistic tendencies. I can understand if she said they have sociopsychopathic tendencies, as opposed to labeling them definitively that, because one of the fundamental law is the development stages. They're still going through it, even though they would have passed the significant years, which I say 0 to 7, really 0 to 12, the formative years, the years when it's like the cement set, the cement, the rough sand, the gravel, in the hot sun with the water, it's set. But if I come with a big gun, if I come with a bulldozer, it can move the cement, it can dig it up. So they're still in that development stage because they're not even adults as yet. So we have to be careful of the words that we speak. There is power, there is life and death in the tongue. Power comes from it. We have to understand, even though they have these tendencies, there is that possibility of them turning over a new leaf. There is that possibility of them repenting with the right intervention methods or methodologies at the right time. The time has to be right and ripe. They can become totally different human beings. So you have to be very careful in labeling definitively people as narcissists, young people, let me say it that way, narcissists, psychopaths or sociopsychopaths, and so on. I understand where you're coming from, because you even gave an example that people who are psychopaths, who are murderers, killers, and all crazy people, they were young people before. Fair enough. But it unfortunately, in those cases, the right intervention was not had at the right time. Also, there's something with us as adults. When we see anomalies, we don't necessarily at all times deal with it the right way. What we do, we create a ceremony and a vitriol around it, And we have to be careful that we're not adding more fuel to the fire as opposed to sand or water, if water is recommended for that fire, or sand or whatever neutralizing effect that is recommended for that specific fire. So we add more to it. Because we too have a slight tendency of narcissism. Narcissism is really extreme selfishness. And that's innate in every human being. So we have to be very careful in labeling students definitively something. calling that on them, even though they may seem that way, because there is that possibility of change. So that is where I would caution the principal in not saying that even though, because they can change for the better with the right intervention. Guys, follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this.